If I win, I'm going to open them up. I'm just going to open enough.
Why didn't you open it up the first time, though?
Because
What
a lot
was,
of times,
what was the hesitation, though?
Addresses.
Video, like I'll send it to Rob after we all break it down, where Secret Service is running by his car and he's about to go down Dealey Plaza and he's called off. The guys are called off of protecting the president. Even the Secret Service guys like, wait, what? And then look at this, leaving him going completely.
Patrick Bet-David has this conversation about the JFK files. But first, Donald Trump and Joe Rogan have this conversation. And what in the world is going on? And I think there's a Bible verse that could tie all of this together and help us to have trust and to not to be afraid during these crazy times. So let's get right into it.
Here's Donald Trump speaking about the JFK files during the election campaign.
They called me, a lot of good people called me, people that that you would find reasonable people. And they asked me not to do it. So I said, well, we'll close it for another time. But if I win, I'm going to open them up. I'm just going to open enough.
Why didn't you open it up the first time, though?
Because
What
a lot
was,
of times,
what was the hesitation, though?
Addresses, people that are still living. There are people that are affected. And there could be some national security reason that that I don't have to necessarily know about. But some very good, talented people asked me not to do it. I opened it up, and then they said, would it be possible for us to do that a different day?
How much of it did you read into?
I think it's going to be just fine to open it. Let me put it that way. I think it's fine. It's going to be time. It's a cleansing. It's really a cleansing. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it immediately, almost immediately upon entering office.
And it's interesting, Trump has doubled down on his promise to release records related to former President JFK and RFK, as well as Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassinations. Here is Trump speaking about this.
As a first step toward restoring transparency and accountability to government, we will also reverse the overclassification of government documents, and in the coming days, we are going to make public remaining records relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, his brother Robert Kennedy, as well as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and other topics of great public interest. It's all going to be released, Uncle Sam.
Wow.
It's just amazing to hear him speak about the transparency, and I think that's what really resonates with voters, with Americans. They want governments to be more transparent about what's going on, what's been done in the past. What can we expect from this?
Well, I completely agree. Sunlight is the best disinfectant, and this should be a bipartisan issue. I think both sides of the aisle should be welcoming this. It seems quite fitting that he would announce something about MLK on MLK Day here in America. And one other figure who's bound to be intrigued by how things unfold is Robert F. Kennedy, his mooted health secretary. So I think we can expect a lot of interesting things here. But even if the government narrative about what happened with these assassinations turns out to be true, well, great, that reinforces their credibility, which they could really do with rebuilding at the moment. Otherwise, the public does have a right to know what's really gone on here. And I think that was the key part of that passage, is that Trump said this is a great topic of interest to the public. We deserve to know. The public has a right to know. And I think he's doing exactly the right thing. The final thing to note is that this really enforces this idea of Trump the outsider, who's really coming in to knock down the walls of the state and share with the public as much as they can and possibly know.
Yeah. So now we're going to be watching a Patrick Bet-David. For so long, they've been lied to, and they're super upset about this. They're upset that they've been lied to, and they can't trust the government anymore. That's how they feel. But in my opinion, this is a huge win for Donald Trump to be like, see, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to let you know.
For many years, John F. Kennedy assassination. No, there's one shooter. You guys are delusional. There's only one shooter. You're crazy. Oh, my God. You guys are just following all these stories and movies. Stop it. Stop watching Oliver Stone and stop watching this and stop watching that. MAGA head of JFK Files Task Force claims there were two shooters. Okay. And this is, I want to say her name properly, Anna Paulina Luna. She does phenomenal work, launched a task force on the declassification of federal secrets, along House Oversight Chairman James Comer declaring, I believe, well, I'll let you watch it for yourself. Go ahead, Rob.
Epstein 9/11? Our first investigation will be announced, but it's going to be covering on a thorough investigation into the John F. Kennedy assassination. And I can tell you, based on what I've been seeing so far, the initial hearing that was actually held here in Congress was actually faulty in the single bullet theory. I believe that there were 2 shooters, and we should be finding more information as we are able to gain access into the SCIF, hopefully before the files are actually released to the public.
Vinny.
Okay, and I've been besides Oliver Stone's JFK, the movie, which I've probably seen, no joke, maybe 15 times. So accurate, so much details.
Back and to the right.
Back into the and just doing all your own research, Pat, with your own eyes. Okay, and then watching that video, like I'll send it to Rob after we all break it down, where Secret Service is running by his car and he's about to go down Dealey Plaza and he's called off. I got goosebumps, Pat. They're calling off Secret Service because when you're out there in the open in a pretty dangerous place, which is Dallas, which you've gotten death threats, you release everybody because there's supposed to be a human being running just to be able to stop the shooting. And as a marksman, as an expert in the rifle, there's no way that Oswald with the pump, there's no way. And we all saw as it's going, because they slowed down. This is the video right here. Look at this while I'm telling the story. Look at it. These guys are called off of protecting the president. Even the Secret Service guys like, wait, what? And then look at this, leaving him going completely naked out there with no.
Yeah, they just leave him. That's insane. To just leave the president. Something is going on. And that's how when you think about the Trump assassination, how in the world did they not see the guy up there? Why didn't they do anything? Apparently they had eyes on him for 5 minutes before he even took a shot. How in the world would they let this go on unless they wanted someone to die? It's very sus.
Protection, Pat. They're supposed to be running by the vehicle. So then seeing the video and then seeing him getting shot once in the throat, and you see him like asking for help, and then Onassis comes and gets to his aid, and then his head goes backwards, and they proved in a court of law in the United States a magic bullet theory. And if you haven't seen it, they're saying, Tom, that a bullet came in, hit him, hit the governor, spun around and came back. And as you guys all know, the word magic is make-believe. It's fake. The fact that they called it a magic bullet theory, and I cannot wait for, and again, you talk about accountability, vindication for people like us that have been saying it forever. They have been lying to us. They lied about the Gulf of Tonkin. They lie about this. They lied about 9/11. That's all they've done is lie to us. And this is the main reason, Pat, that people like Trump and people like Elon are such a threat to them because they're messing with their money. This is, Tom, what was this? He went up against the military-industrial complex. What is that doing? You're messing with people's money, and they shot him in the head. What Trump is doing right now, what Elon's doing right now, and what he's suggesting with the Fed is messing with their money, and it's a dangerous game that they're playing, but I think it's a game that has to be played, period.
Tom.
You know, I'm looking forward to this, and I'm glad that she's on it, and I want to see the stuff coming out so that all of the theories, not just theories, there was some real informed research that was done.
Yeah, that's crazy to be like, yeah, somehow we have no idea, but this bullet spun around and hit him in the head. Huh? Wow. That's wild.
But I think that much of that research is going to be validated, absolutely validated. And we have seen, you know, it's not Oliver Stone, making a theatrical interpretation of what was going on with, Garrison, the character. It's also looking at common sense from men who have served on the battlefield, that have served with the police departments, that have served with ballistics, saying, you can't cause the president's wound, the head wound, the kill shot, from above and behind him. And it's just, we've all known that. That's a simple fact. You can't do that. Well, then where'd it come from? Now you have all the theories. Oh, the CIA was over here, the guy in the grass. But I am very, very happy that it's starting to come out. And we've also heard, things coming from others over time, and people that have said it. It's saying, well, it's not a who, it's a what. What? It was an agency or it's a group. And I'm very glad that it's coming out. And she just stood there and said, you know, from what I'm seeing, there was 2 shooters, which we have forensically understood. We just want to know, who are the 2 shooters? Is there documents in the Kennedy files that would indicate who was, or who called, or who paid, or who placed?
Yeah, but my problem is, okay, they've always known. They've always known. Why keep it from the public? That's I mean, we know, but what's the reason? Who was that guy? So, I mean, that means they brought it to court. They all freaking lied. All these witnesses showing up dead. They've been lying to us. They keep lying to us. And it just pisses me off is when we find out who that person is, Tom, because I believe that there might have been even more than that guy. I think there was multiple people. I think it was a triangular position, and maybe even some of them had blanks. So at the end of the day, no one is actually at fault, and nobody knows. Nobody can say, well, I definitely did it. I had blanks in my gun. I want to know who
So that's
gave
the
that
firing squad theory, is that one out of 7 men on the firing squad has a blank.
Yes.
So you can always think, maybe I didn't.
So you can sleep at night.
I did my duty, but maybe it wasn't me.
So and Pat, that's my thing. There's another shooter. Who did he work for, and who told him to go there? And who told it to cover it up? That's the problem.
That's what I look forward to, is finding out the who behind the second shooter, because I don't think there's a question.
Which of the 2 are you more interested in, this or Epstein's list?
Epstein's list.
Could I be honest with you?
Yeah.
If JFK, you know why? Because that, to me, besides 9/11, is the worst moment in the history of the United States. They murdered, whatever you want to call it, the sitting president. Meaning, if it's true, the CIA, all these guys, Lyndon B. Johnson, they all colluded to kill him. To hell with treason. It just sucks because none of these people are alive, Pat. They held it for all these years. Everybody's dead. We're not going to have any accountability. And if it was the CIA, what's going to happen to the CIA?
That's why
That's the problem.
That's why I was a little bit more prone to wanting to know what's on Epstein's list. Because yes, is the assassination and murder of a sitting U.S. president, JFK, important? You bet your ass it is. However, whatever happened with Epstein, these people are walking around. What's going on? What did they do illegal? Who was this guy? What happened? Where are these people? This pedophile island. Yes, this is important.
Yeah, I think there's something really important about this. Because if there is no God, none of these people will be held accountable. The Jeffrey Epstein killers who got away with things. If there is no God, none of them will be held accountable. There will be no consequences for their sins. But if there is a God, they will be held accountable. Even if they never get caught on this side of eternity, God knows, and God will hold them accountable. So that's something important to know and understand.
I'm not downplaying the how important something like this is,
of it.
But you know what I find interesting under the Trump administration, this is going to be coming out. Hopefully, we'll see. I would love to know what the Democrats.
For sure, the Epstein and Diddy list would be wild to see, to actually show who was there. Like, why in the world can you not do that? Maybe because people who are very popular and powerful will be prosecuted. I don't know.
Democratic wing of the Kennedy family these days, other than basically JFK, would they owe him a debt of gratitude? Would they say thank you? Do they want to know what's going on? Like, would they at least admit, hey, we're not the biggest fans of Trump. We're a Democrat legacy family, but thank you for shedding some light of exactly what happened in this situation right here. So I'd love to see what happened with that.
But this was the first bit like this. I get the Epstein thing, and trust me, anything with children, I'm 100% all in. That's a hill that I would die on, freaking fall on the sword, all that. But this is one of the first ones. This is the main one, assassinating a sitting president. And if these freaking agencies were involved,
so go down the path here. Okay. So it turns out there was a second shooter, and it was involved in the CIA or something.
Yeah, whatever.
Or it was the mafia. What then? What do you do then? Be like, I told you so?
No.
Everyone knows that there's some sort of foul play going on here.
But we have to know the truth.
What would change? What would actually change?
If the CIA was involved, Adam, guess what happens to the CIA? You're going bye-bye. You can't be. You were.
CIA is not going bye-bye.
What do you mean? Hold on. Okay, so let me put it back to you. You find out today.
Yeah, but hold on. But the point is. This was 75 years ago.
I don't give a shit.
Alive.
If they but the organization killed the sitting president.
You're saying you have little interest to find out the truth about what happened 62 years ago?
That's not what I said. I didn't say I have little interest. I said that I have more interest in what's going on Epstein. You asked a binary question. What do you have more interested in, Epstein or JFK? Yes, I have interest in this, but it's not like any of these people are even alive.
100%. But guess what happened to Donald Trump a couple months ago, Adam? They shot him.
Yeah, I'd like to know those. What happened with that as well?
This is crazy. And this is, again, as a shooter, I'm not freaking showing off. The cockiness, I don't think it was crooks. This is me personally. The guy had 6 cell phones. We know nothing about him. That Luigi Mangione, that guy in 3 hours, we knew everything. He might be gay. He might be this. The fact that we still don't know about that guy, okay? And as a shooter, to shoot somebody and try to go for their head, that is a cocky shooter. Because as a sniper, when you're trying to shoot, bro, you're shooting center mass. Whatever your front sight or your dot, you're here, Adam, because no matter where you're breathing, whatever, even if you hit Trump here, he's done. He's 78 years old. He's not going to survive. This person was trying to do, because when you shoot somebody here, that's trying to send a message to the world. But God intervened, and that's why, Pat, you nailed it. That November 5th, this movement, saving humanity, we are living in such an amazing time that I believe God said, now's not the time. And he stepped in. That's divine intervention.
That's interesting. I would love to know what you guys think in the comments, because are you excited to see the list? Are you excited to see what in the world is going on? I think it's just very interesting and something that is important for all of us to think about. I think there's a very interesting Bible verse that Numbers 32:23 says, "But if you fail to keep your word, then you will have sinned against the Lord, and you may be sure that your sin will be found out, that your sin will find you out." And at the end of the day, that's what it really comes down. Their sin will be found out one way or another. God knows. And it's something that's important for us. If we have things that are hidden in the dark, we better bring it to light. Confess your sins, because he is faithful and just to forgive